Give them bread and circuses and they will never revolt, ladies and gentlemen, from the good old Roman poet. What was his name again? Juvenal. Don't even know how to say it, but that's the truth, ladies and gentlemen. So much is happening behind the scenes of this glorious bull run, and I'm here to just tell you my opinion on it. Whether it comes true or not, it all depends on if history repeats itself, and if it doesn't repeat, it certainly does rhyme. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. So, Bitcoin, huh? Bitcoin putting some nice flavor to that 94.5. Very interesting move. We're going to talk about that very shortly. But I'm going to be talking about the pending credit crash. So if you don't like the idea of things being cheap, this stream is not for you, ladies and gentlemen. He said it too many times. Let's get with the program, gang. It's good to be back. Here we go. So what we're talking about? Well, this is the current pace right now in the markets. We've got the Fed that wants to lower rates in December, but they are concerned about inflation in 2025. So what's going to be the problem? Well, look, man, let's just be frank with it. Trump and his policies are starting to get people a little bit concerned. Now, I don't know if you guys actually were aware of this, but, he's, trying to do these tariffs, especially one in particular, being the 10% cut on credit cards. Boy, oh boy, that was an interesting one. Did anybody watch this? Did you watch Visa and Mastercard getting screwed by Republicans? Here's some fun facts. Do you know Mastercard holds 80% of the credit debt? That's monopoly. Do you know how much that is? Look at this chart, right? Tell me what you think of it. The blue line is the US household debt and total debt balance, credit card, and the red line is the S&P. Trump's policies haven't come into play just yet. So why do you think everything's going up? By the logic of smart money, dumb money, we understand that when the blue line's going down, smart money is selling. So assets that are rising are going to be sold because that's what you do, yeah? You sell when it's rising. You don't sell when it's dropping. Which bird brain did you try and tap into and say, oh, well, what's, when you're buying and you're selling in a stock? Yeah. Did you buy when it's high or do you use and sell when it's low? Yeah. That's the reality of things, ladies and gentlemen. This thing right here is telling you what's going on. But what's more concerning, guys, is the fact that you notice as the debt started to come down, the S&P started to climb up, which is when they were starting to put credit to the test. And they were consuming and consuming and consuming and consuming. Does it ring a bell? Now, hear me out with this story. If Trump's going to put a 10% cap on credit cards, well, let's just look at MasterCard for a second, right? This $1.7 trillion, all right, $1.17 trillion that is currently got in terms of debt, household debt with credit cards, okay? In this actual discussion, they revealed that on 28%, they're earning roughly around $327 million a year off the back of that dead money that is borrowed, printed out of nowhere. So surely this is good news for Bitcoin now, yeah? You would think it's going to be good news for Bitcoin. I'll show you. When they put the cap, and if it does actually happen, what about these guys right here? These guys are going to suffer. JP Morgan provides credit cards, Bank of America, credit cards. Morgan Stanley, Wells Fargo. All these big banks, they're in the credit card game because their markups 50% costs them nothing. It costs nothing to give this money away. And they're obviously insured and it's covered. And all what will happen is if the markets do crash, we're going to get ourselves a nice little bailout. For every single bailout that has happened in the past, or should I say every crash, a bailout has followed. My chart of the last 100 years of the stock market shows when the markets are coming down due to problems with credit, the government steps in and starts saving everybody's rear end, or should I say derriere, for my French gang. But don't worry, ladies and gentlemen, in cryptocurrency, we're getting even greater news. Japan PM, he promises to include a tax cut for crypto in stimulus package. That's wonderful news. That makes sense as to why Bitcoin is currently at significant price points. 94,000, ladies and gentlemen, 95 nearly. What an absolute storm of a move on Bitcoin. Now, yesterday I didn't go live, guys, and yesterday, Platinum members, they managed to exploit this flavor to the upside. It was quite a good day. Everybody made money yesterday in the Platinum setup. So just as an example, we saw the NASDAQ. Wanted to see NASDAQ come down to make a reversal to the upside. They did come down a little bit lower, to be fair, but they did end up making the nice swift move to the upside. It was a wonderful move on NASDAQ. I actually did trade that. Wait there. I did trade that move. Let me just pull that up for you right about now. Where was that move? No. Wait a second. I'll show you what I did. I had this play on NASDAQ yesterday, and it was actually a wonderful move. I was playing it non-stop. Here we go. Happy days. Let me bring it up for you. There she is. So we had NASDAQ yesterday. I was literally building positions on NASDAQ, building, took a couple of losses as well, and then they flew up, and then we took advantage of some more flavor to the upside, and then happy days. We came up with a nice day, about 10 grand on the day on our account, so that worked out really nicely for us. So that move yesterday on NASDAQ was splendiferous. And on top of that, with Bitcoin, it cleared the range. We wanted to see 93,278, and Bitcoin just swept it to the upside yesterday. It was lovely, nice little flavorsome move in the US session yesterday. It was a bit tricky, but nonetheless, Bitcoin came through with that setup. And Ethereum, she didn't do anything, but we expected Ethereum to try and come up, to then try and come down. And she did come up, came to that 3,180, and then has pulled back ever since. But other than that, it's been bloody wonderful across the board for volatility regarding cryptocurrency. But just to put it into perspective, guys, as well, like I know I'm saying that this credit card story is going to be a bit of a problem for us all. It's going to have an impact on inflation, and that's what the problem is across the board. Now, let's just talk about this for a split second. MicroStrategy. They now enter into the top US 100 public companies by market cap, and it's called the Bitcoin effect. Now, what do you think MicroStrategy is doing in getting its accumulation of Bitcoin? It's offering convertible notes like bonds, and it's saying, buy our stock, okay, or have our stock with this, give us your capital, we'll give you our stock, right? And then we're going to get that money and we're going to go buy some Bitcoin. All right. I think Michael Saylor's approach is very, in my opinion, it's irresponsible for him to keep on declaring as it goes up, I'm going to keep on buying Bitcoin. He like sucks Bitcoin's blockchain very well and continuously because all he's about is Bitcoin. But if we have an actual credit crisis, all right, well, MicroStrategy borrowed money from Silvergate. They paid it off. They're now using their stock to get money. So what margin call are they going to get? You're the margin call because you're going to call them and be like, where's my money? And they'll be like, sorry, man, volatility screwed us. You know? Which is why they're offering convertible notes, convertible bonds. You buy their stock and they go buy Bitcoin. Where's the risk for them? Because if that company goes to pan, ciao, ciao. You're left with the bag of stock that is deemed worthless. Now, let's not get it twisted right now. MicroStrategy is looking very, very handsome. All right, just quickly go into that. And we're going to be talking about that bad boy NVIDIA very, very shortly, guys. Here we go, MicroStrategy. We've got this right now. Top 100 company, $430 a share. I mean, I know a dude that bought $130 worth of this bad boy. He's laughing. He is laughing. And this is off the back of Bitcoin moving up. So you're naturally going to be thinking, yeah, baby, like this is all money, money, money for us all. But it doesn't stop there. The ETF itself. Look at this. Read it. After IBIT, Bitwise Bitcoin spot ETF options going live. So that probably would explain why everything in cryptocurrency is going up. Do you understand now what that means? Options, leverage, expiries. It's going to be a wild game, ladies and gentlemen. This thing is going to go parabolic. But please, please, if we've learned anything about Bitcoin, the more and more Wall Street gets involved in Bitcoin, the more Wall Street way of thinking comes into play. Look at it. It's right there. Currently, BlackRock picking up that Bitcoin, man. What was the actual reading? I've got the article right here for us. Here we go. Bitcoin ETF, record 1 billion in inflows in 2 days. I mean, it's just not going to stop. And if you're all very optimistic about Bitcoin right now, dare I say to you, take something off the table, because you've got a big news announcement coming out today, guys. We have got our dearly beloved Nvidia coming out with their earnings report. Now, listen, that's at 9:20 today-ish. And when you're finding out about the times, different companies say different things. IG Index is talking about it coming out at 9:20 UK time, and here it's at 9 p.m. UK time in principle. But I will literally, I'm just going to break it all down for you with regards to Nvidia, all right? And you've got to be very, very careful with it. It's coming up close towards its all-time highs, okay? Now, when we look at the fundamentals of Nvidia, we then say to ourselves, okay, then, is it a good stock, okay? Now, this right here is going to make all the difference on whether or not this rally to the upside is going to sustain itself, okay? And if this thing's going to actually bloody load. Wait there, here we go. So I'm just going to pull that up in a split second. In an article earlier on this morning, right, when I was reading this stuff right here, they've now gone on to say that trading in option signals, the results will be the most important catalyst left this year. In other words, Nvidia's news call, right? And it's more important than what the Federal Reserve's meeting in December is going to be. Can you believe it? A stock's more important than what the Federal Reserve is going to do as to whether or not we're going to be able to borrow more yen and convert it to dollars to put it into assets. Like what on earth is that? And this is a stock, okay? Now, to put it back into perspective for you all, go and have a look at Nvidia and its fundamentals for the fundamentalist. Right now, the problem that I've got with Nvidia is this. Volume across the board, as it's been going up and breaking out of this range, has not been above average. That's a problem for me, okay? Now, I'm not here to give you the negative outlook, but if we did have something, then I'd be optimistic about it, but we don't have it. So I have to be a pessimist towards it. If you look at the volume before it actually broke out, you can see it's relatively decent with the blue bars above the 50-day moving average, okay, of volume. As it's broken out, guys, it's not coming into play. I'm seeing more distribution than I am seeing buying. In other words, accumulation. To back that story up, if we look at the actual details of their quarterly earnings, I said this morning to the Platinum guys, their earnings are decelerating, but because they're in triple digits, it's actually wonderful. All right. Now, if Nvidia today does not come through, in my opinion, the market is going to be left challenged. They're going to be left to say, well, Nvidia is the future. You know, they're the market leader right now with AI. Never mind, it happens, doesn't it? Prices go up, it gets a bit expensive. What about these tariffs? These tariffs are going to create a problem for us in terms of inflation. This is where Bitcoin should shine. But again, let's just do some maths, all right? Let's just go and look at some maths right now. 256,000 Bitcoin in grayscale, right? 472,000 right there. Okay, so we're just shy of nearly 750,000. No, just under 650, right? Then you've got 41 right there. Let's say 700, okay? And then all the other dribs and drabs, all right? Let's just say, round it off, about 710,000 Bitcoin, okay? that's circulating amongst the street. That doesn't include MicroStrategy, Tino. Why? Because they don't bloody sell it because they've leveraged themselves with debt. They're either going to pay back their investors and then sell the Bitcoin to give it back to them. No chance. They ain't going to be doing that anytime soon. The issue that I've got, guys, if this thing with the credit is going to be posing a problem for us, then everything that you're seeing going up is the market preparing for the worst. That's my opinion. And it would be a shame because everyone's in high spirits right now. I mean, let's just go and have a look at Bitcoin's price action just to get you all excited a little bit more. Bitcoin has just swept that 94,000 region itself, nearly clearing out the 95,590 region. Going into the daily time frame, there's nothing for us to talk about other than Bitcoin's been going up and it doesn't look like it's going to stop. Backing it up with this nut job right here, XRP. Not interested, but anyways, Ethereum taking the day off. It's just consolidated sideways, no real movement. Solana doing very well, close to its all-time highs. I mean, you're naturally going to think that everything's going to blow off very soon, which I do believe is going to be the case. We're going to get a blow off top, okay? And that's where the 100K comes into play. That's when 100K gets Bitcoin on the map of interest, okay? That's what I think is going to happen. But I think once the tariffs come into play, because Trump right now, he's taking his time behind it all. He's taking his time in getting these tariffs out, all right? And remember, Trump measures his success in office on how well the stock market is doing. Now, he's just come in. Well, he's going to be walking in very soon. Are they marking it all up now to effectively prepare it for him to deal with the crash and blame it all on him with your tariffs? Don't get it twisted. It's going to be good news for the US. The tariffs will be good news in the US. Why? Because you're getting money back into the US, man. And that's your problem. You're giving it out. You're sending it everywhere. China's getting everything on cheap. I'm not even going to talk about Japan, man. Japan, like, this is a problem, guys. Look, the dollar yen's going up. This is not good news. It's hurting them when the dollar against the yen is going up. They need to bring it down. And this is when you're going to get a cash injection, a stimulus. Sorry, an intervention. That's what you're going to get with the Bank of Japan. They will intervene to bring the US dollar back down against the yen. And on top of that, they will then look to increase the interest rates, which is what they are planning. So what am I saying to you all, ladies and gentlemen, to finalize the day? I'm saying you better be mindful. Take profits accordingly. All right? Don't leave money on the table because you never knew you were going to make it. So what's the guarantee that it's going to stay profitable for you? Pay yourselves and enjoy it because Bitcoin will come back down. All right? Don't let the parabolic candle enter your derriere through your mouth and then to the ceiling and you think you're going to be able to operate with that basis. I'm coming out with some really bad jokes. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope you've enjoyed today's live stream. Be sure to like and subscribe on the way out. I really need to reevaluate my jokes. Mad love and respect, guys. Peace. Stop winking.